So, so this is the first time I've done one of these on YouTube. It's an amazing thing. It's like it's all set up for us to communicate to the whole world. So we're really distressed by what's going on, both in Israel and in Ukraine and Russia, and in Taiwan and China. This is all silliness. You understand this? This is one petulant child pissed off that everybody else is doing better than she is. That's all this is. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have it both ways all the time. I just can't. Excuse me for a second. I'm going to turn this off. Because it intrudes on the sound like crazy. So what's happened is the Israelis have hated the Nazis, but you see, if they listened to wisdom, if they had worshipped their God instead of the golden calf again, that's what they're doing now. They've given up on God and they're now worshiping Joe Biden and his democratic frenzy, better known in the old days as Baal, the god of lies, baby murder, gained by fraud and deceit, that kind of thing. That's their god. And the big lie they worship. The big lie that Joe Biden was really elected president of the United States fair and square. Like that anything has happened in the United States fair and square. Or as the elites, these so-called elites claim that it has. Like I doubt very much whether Lee Harvey Oswald killed President Kennedy. I contrast Lee Harvey Oswald to, for instance, the CIA, who have no limit to what their doings. They're just their imaginations for loss causing are unparalleled. Mike Pompeo, a little fat boy, fucks up everybody he can. He gets a kick out of it. Probably the only sexual kicks he knows. I don't know, but I bet even money on it. He takes a great deal of pride, not pride, just glee in the loss of others. I've seen it in his eyes. Disgusting man. And Benjamin Netanyahu is another one. Like he's turned into a literal Hitler, worse than Snitlitzky, Saint Snitlitzky from Ukraine. Benjamin Netanyahu makes him look like Mother Teresa. They're both Nazis, you understand? And not only that, it's the Jews funding the Nazi movement in Ukraine. They gave birth to it. The Azov Battalion, Jews. Zelensky's benefactor, who he's now gone up on charges, is Jew. And so these Jews have gone together and fomented the rebirth of Nazis, not only in Ukraine, but also in Washington and Canada. Yeah. My Russian folk lost 26 million souls, many of them young men, to the Nazi aberration. And so the United States, in her wit and her generosity, takes it upon herself to fertilize a Nazi bloom on her borders and arm them and encourage them to kill Russians. The best money we ever spent. What harm has Russia done to the United States? Well, it didn't let her rip them off her country. That's one thing. Like she has every other country in Europe. All she does is cause loss wherever she goes. You want to sign up for NATO, good. Get used to losing. Like Ukraine, or like London, or like Paris, or like Germany, or like Italy. They're stunned and stupid. They follow Joe Biden like a Pied fucking Piper. I've never seen such idiocy in all my born days. Ever. Anyway, Mr. Trump, Hamas did not just get up one morning and decide to attack Israel. Hamas is fighting for what has been stolen from them, not unlike your king. The Israeli government has been doing to the Israelis what the Ontario, Canada government has been doing to me for at least 30 years. For some reason, they hated me and thought the world would be better if I didn't exist. They tried to ethnically cleanse me as well. And they used my parents, my dying mom and dad, to do it. There's no limit to these people. People without a God. You're born to worship something. You have a vacuum in your life. If you're a human being, you have this vacuum and you need to fill it with something. So these folks, in their infinite brilliance, decide to fill it with themselves, either that or each other. So what you have is a collection of individuals sniffing each other's bums for wisdom and declaring war, and they're bankrupt. They can't produce weapons needed to fund the Ukraine war, and yet they're declaring war on China. What do you do? Declare war on China and purchase their weapons from her? Declare war on China and purchase anything from her? You're fucking lucky. My elder statesmen are treating you like the spoiled juvenile delinquent that you are, and not really holding you to account for the dismal originations you've been fomenting on my planet. But Mr. Trump, make no mistake, Hamas was not born yesterday, and Hamas is at its wit's end, putting up with the likes of you and Jared Kushner, deciding on how the Jews have a right to rob anyone of anything, ever. God did not choose them for that. They've lost their minds and their way and their God. And they have no divine right to those lands whatsoever. As of about 50 years ago, but right now for sure, because they're hearing this. This is true. The Jews have no God-given right to those lands. Period. They've betrayed the promise themselves continuously over 5,000 years. It's gone.